Dr. Fauci to lead U.S. delegation at WHO meetings as Biden plans to reverse Trump withdrawal.
Here's a summary of the article.
President-elect Joe Biden has tapped Dr. Anthony Fauci to lead a U.S. delegation at the World Health Organization's annual meetings this week, reversing outgoing President Donald Trump's plan to withdraw from the international aid group. The new administration plans to work with the WHO on an international COVID-19 response plan as one of Biden's first major policy changes planned for his first day in office, the transition team announced hours before his inauguration Wednesday. Once the United States resumes its engagement with the WHO, the Biden-Harris administration will work with the WHO and our partners to strengthen and reform the organization, support the COVID-19 health and humanitarian response, and advance global health and health security, the statement said. Reengaging with WHO, which is the United Nations Health Organization, is among a litany of changes Biden plans to make to combat the COVID-19 pandemic raging throughout the country and across the world. Trump announced the country would withdraw from the United Nations Health Agency in late May, but the process wasn't expected to become final until this July. Trump repeatedly criticized the WHO for being too China-centric and denounced the disproportionate amount of funding the U.S. allocated to the agency in comparison to other countries. In April, Trump said his administration would suspend funding to the WHO while it reviewed the agency's role in severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of the coronavirus. The U.S. is the largest donor to the organization, providing the agency with nearly $893 million during the agency's 2018 and 2019 budget cycle.
This post received a score of 75,000, with an upvote ratio of 85%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Dr. Fauci must be so relieved that the new administration is normal.
I feel like I can finally let out a breath I've been holding since 2016, when I woke up to find we had elected not only a terrible human being as president, but possibly worse, someone who was completely unqualified for the job. I knew then that it was going to be bad, but not even at my most pessimistic, could have foreseen a tenth of how bad it would get and how strained our systems of checks and balances would be challenged.
The problem isn't that he was unqualified for the job, it was his blatant refusal to accept that fact and try to learn how to do the job, despite his lack of training. I'm not sure there's anyone really who's qualified for the job, except maybe a VP who gets elected, or that time Grover Cleveland had a second term not attached to the first one. It's a very unique job, and I don't fault Trump for being unqualified. Do you think Ronald Reagan went in, qualified, for the job? Say what you want about him and his terrible economic and foreign policies, but at least he learned how to be a president while he was being the president.
Reagan was also a state governor before becoming president, so at least he had some experience at running a government.
Actor 2. Really helps sell that trickle-down bullshit we are paying for 4 decades later.
I think you're underselling Trump's critical role in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Or that shitty TV show where he pretended to be a successful businessman for 10 fucking seasons.
Or that book that he pretended he wrote. Or that daughter he pretends he's not dating.
And this is going to be Trump's legacy. His work will be undone and repaired like an annoying pothole. It's good to see we are correcting course for the better.
It's funny because all Trump had to do was show only the slightest bit of compassion and intelligence during his term and he might have won a second term.
70 million votes. I'm thinking he definitely would have. Throw in a couple more stimulus checks and I'd bet money on it.
He could have sat back, let everyone do the work that needed to be done. They could have shut us down for 6 to 8 weeks and paid us all to stay home, etc. Then he could have told us how he saved us all and would have won re-election so easily. He can't for one sec let someone else take the glory. So instead he tells us to inject ourselves with disinfectant.
I mean, look at his performance of leaving his job after being fired. It was graceless in December, but it got outright painful to watch. Then he just takes off to Florida when the day comes. Good riddance. This man can't do anything without making it about himself, and only about that. God, he's going to hate being irrelevant, and I feel some satisfaction with this thought.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.